I'm Natale, the wonderful leader of our Red Rabbits, the marshalling team who is working to keep us very safe during this convention.
I thank Natalie for flattering me. The truth is I'm not the leader of security here. Y'all are. Everybody is responsible for the collective security, safety, and everyone's needs being met here. And so I wanted to give you all the information that you needed to be able to fill that role of keeping each other safe, keeping each other secure, and making sure that everybody is able to fully participate in this convention. The first thing that we have to talk about is accessibility. We have a lot of disabled comrades, and a lot of those are invisible disabilities. You don't know who it is that is having a more difficult time navigating this space, and this space was not created with all of their needs in mind. So it's up to us to modify that space to make sure that everybody is able to move in the ways that they need to move. What this means is that, first of all, in this room, I see that no one's clapping for me. It could be because I'm not engaging, but it also is because everyone's doing this. And that's really important because those loud bursts of noise, even though this is a noisy space, when we can do something like reducing that, that's really important. So please don't clap, shoot up these. In terms of movement, right, you'll notice that a lot of these floors are connected by elevators. Those elevators are very slow. If you are able to use the stairs that are immediately outside, and even better, if you're able to go across the way to use the stairs in the corners, that's going to free up space for people who have to rely upon the other forms of transportation. If you can use the stairs, use the stairs. If you are able to use the escalators, use the escalators. And if you need the elevator, the marshals are going to be trying to do our best to make sure that access to that is reserved for people. Just, yeah. 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 And additionally, with the noise issue, like avoid hissing, avoid waving banners, right? Because there's all sorts of things. If you don't know what to do, show up these, right? I'm sure there's lots of ways that we can communicate to each other without needing to rely on something that's going to hurt somebody else. We have quiet rooms that are available. There's a range of options of these, right? On Piedmont floor, on 7, there's one that has video but no sound, if you still want to be able to observe the convention, but the sound is an issue. There's also on Piedmont 8, a completely quiet room. One thing to note there, please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because that's going to be difficult for people, and whether, perfumes or anything like that. So in addition to this collective security, we need to be working on consent, right? The principle of collective security is we don't want to put people in stressful situations that they don't consent to, right? And we have to be accountable to each other that our actions might have negative consequences for other people. So first and foremost, use the proper doors, right? Don't try and exit through these or any other sort of like fun shortcuts you see. We really need to keep those closed. You have to have your credentials at all time. We're not trying to be jerks, but there are right-wing infiltrators who are trying to get in here, and the way that you enable us to keep them out is by making sure it's very easy for all the marshals to see those. We're also talking about de-escalation, right? Because people are going to have different experiences of things that some others might think is normal heatedness, and I think in some of that there's an inevitability there, but it's going to be really traumatic for people if we're not making an affirmative effort to de-escalate each other and de-escalate ourselves, right? And we have marshals who are going to help you do that. If you are having a conflict with somebody, feel free to step away, right? We're going to make sure that you can get out of that space. Let somebody else step away if they need to step away, right? And generally, try to be chill, right? Take a deep breath. And feel better before you say anything. We also have an info security, right? This is really, really important. Please don't tweet photos of your credentials. That would be very bad. Please don't share your credentials with other people. If you have friends here that you would like to be here and they don't have credentials, don't let them in. Don't make exceptions for those people because it makes it really hard to take care of the people. Don't really talk to anybody who doesn't have a credential, especially if they claim to be from the press. You have no idea who that person is. Please do not talk to anybody who identifies themselves as a member of the press without having credentials. Don't talk to cops. Don't talk to MAGA assholes. We're almost there. But thank you. We are going to be visited tomorrow by some MAGA protesters. Is there anybody here who's done abortion clinic escort work? Awesome. It's a very similar operation to that, right? With abortion clinic escort work, you don't want to engage with the MAGAs. You don't want to engage with them at all because the priority is getting people in and out safely without them being harassed by anybody. So by you engaging with them, you are putting danger and stress on your comrades who didn't consent to that. By all means, don't talk to cops if there are cops there for any reason at all, right? And if you do see someone talking to cops, let the marshals know. The last thing is, we have a tough job here. You have a tough job here. And the other tough thing here is making sure that everybody's voice is heard. I know that the folks up front are going to do their best to make sure everyone's voice is heard during the debates. Our marshals are going to be running microphones. They're going to be holding on to those microphones. And please, do your best to respect that and communicate with us if, you need the mic held differently for you for any kind of reason. But please let them make sure that everyone has access to those, and we take it low and slow in terms of getting everybody access to those. And please let us know if you have any kinds of conflicts, any problems about mobility, any problems about finding what you need, any problems or conflicts with other people, or anybody who you see without credentials that you think we should have our eyes on. Please let us know. We are safe and we are strong because there's power in collective work, and that's exactly what we're doing here, and we're going to rely on you to make that happen. So I'm very happy to be working with you on this project, and I hope everyone has a great convention.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Sam.
How are marshals identified?
Marshals are identified through
Green
the green armband.
That's us.
Okay, so marshals are wearing green armbands. Thank you to the marshals for keeping us safe. Excellent. Thank you to Lisa, who will be keeping time. Thank you to Wes, who is taking minutes. I'm going to hand it to Natalie to make one quick announcement.
Okay, so 2 more quick points so that we can get going and make a lot of decisions. We have our 2 mics up front. We also have 2 additional mics that are being run by wonderful volunteers. So if, for example, you make a point of information or a point of privilege, please, keep your hand up or stand if you can, and they will run a mic to you so that you don't have to scamper over to our standing mics. We also have 6 iPads that can be used if we are doing a roll call vote. They are located with our wonderful tech and data manager, Rebecca. Rebecca, can you wave? She has some. We have others up here at our staff table up here with our other wonderful staff member, Glenn. And if you need them to be run to you, again, just keep your hand raised and we will have people scanning and we will get them to you as needed. The last thing I wanted to say, and this touches on something that Sam talked about a little bit, is just a reminder that we do have quite a bit of press here. They are, by and large, in a designated press area and in a press room, but just keep in mind that this event is, in all actuality, quite public. We are live streaming. Press are here. We are before the world, and we want to put the foot of socialism forward, in the best way possible and create more socialists. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Beth so we can get started.
Okay, we have a world to win and some rules to adopt. So, everyone, could I see your voting placards if you've got them? Okay, excellent. Thank you. And so next we're going to go to some further committee reports. After that, we're going to go through adopting the rules. So with that, everyone, we're going to start voting. So let's take a deep breath. Great. And so I'm going to welcome Brian to give the credentials report.
Hi, everybody. Brian Laverne, he/him from Houston. I am a member of the Credentials Committee. I am one of 4 members. We submitted a report that was sent out to all members on Tuesday, July 30th. You can find that in your email now if you wish to view it. It's a PDF. The email is entitled Bulletin Number 5. I'm going to be reading from the summary on that. This report was accepted by all 4 members of the committee, and those members are as follows: Brian Laverne, Zaki Kola, Andre Markic, and Laura Gabby. So I will begin reading the summary. The Credentials Committee, hereafter referred to as the committee, is a 4-member body established and defined by the 2019 National Convention rules and appointed by the NPC. The committee interprets our responsibility as to review, report, and opine upon both the challenges that delegates make regarding the credentials of other delegates and the credentials of delegates overall. We do not believe it is the responsibility of the committee to approve challenges on merit, but rather to report any orderly challenges and offer a recommendation. The committee undertakes this responsibility with utmost sincerity and respect for both the members of DSA and the delegates to the 2019 DSA National Convention, and for the democratically determined processes and rules that govern our organization. When reviewing challenges, we use the Constitution and bylaws of DSA, the 2019 Convention rules, and also the latest edition of Robert's Rules of Order and the values of DSA as we believe them to be. We strongly suggest that delegates consider these things when they make a decision on credentials challenges. We created and submitted a report for all delegates to review that is intended to be the sole and exhaustive opinion of the committee on these challenges. This statement is a non-exhaustive summary of that report, and we ask that delegates refer to the rest of the report if they wish to review all of the details of our committee's investigation and the subsequent facts and findings we produced. In the complete report...
Point of personal privilege. There are people at the back who are having problems hearing.
Oh.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you very much.
Brian?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So, we created and submitted a report for all delegates to review that is intended to be the sole and exhaustive opinion of the committee on these challenges. This statement is a non-exhaustive summary of that report, and we ask that delegates refer to the rest of the report if they wish to review all of the details of our committee's investigation and the subsequent facts and findings we produced. In the complete report, we strive to achieve maximum transparency and clarity. This summary was created for the sake of brevity. The committee received 2 orderly challenges. One challenge is against the credentials of Nick J., an at-large delegate. The other challenge is against 6 delegates from the East Bay chapter. There were no further orderly challenges that were made. So, the Nick J. challenge. The committee received a challenge against the credentials of Nick J. as an at-large delegate. The challenge was made by Sarah L. from the Columbus chapter. Sarah challenged Nick's credentials on the basis that Nick is allegedly a member of the Columbus chapter and thus violated the rules requiring at-large delegates to not be members of any chapter. The committee found that Nick J. communicated to the Columbus chapter leadership of their resignation in November 2018, and that Nick J. also communicated their resignation to a member of DSA staff, Lisa F., in January 2019. Lisa told Nick J. in an email that Nick should no longer appear on the Columbus chapter membership list. Because Nick J. resigned from the Columbus chapter well in advance of both the election of at-large delegates and the election of the delegates for Columbus, the committee recommends that Nick J.'s credentials be upheld and that the respective challenge be overruled. So, the East Bay challenge. The committee received a challenge against the credentials of 6 delegates from East Bay who are named as follows: Shane R., Emma G., Andrew R., Max L., Richard M., and Charlie H. The challenge was made by 12 members of the East Bay chapter who are named as follows: Karina S., Lawrence L., Sergio G., Ted F., Bonnie L., Steve W., Susan S., Mike H., Eric G., Michael K., Stan W., and Gerald S. The committee interpreted that the challenge was made on several bases. One, that DSA requires that chapters use a proportional voting method when electing delegates. Two, that the voting method used by East Bay to elect their delegates, referred to as modified borda, was a non-proportional method. Three, that there was impropriety in how the election was handled, including the communication to voters of how modified borda works and how modified borda was selected as a voting method. And lastly, four, that absentee votes were submitted without clear enough instruction on how modified borda works. Firstly, DSA does not require that delegate elections use a proportional voting method. The challengers misinterpret the rules, which only advise that chapters use a proportional voting method. The challengers also misinterpret the Constitution's requirement that apportioning of delegates be done according to the principle of one member, one vote, as this also does not require that chapters use a proportional voting method. There is a process in the bylaws for members to force the delegate election to use the Hare system, and the challengers allege that members pursued this process but then voluntarily abandoned it twice. Because of these findings, we believe that the challengers' argument around modified borda being a non-proportional voting method is irrelevant to the credentials challenge. We took claim of impropriety in the election very seriously. After reviewing the emails sent out to East Bay members communicating the delegates' election, including mentioning and describing modified borda, we believe that the description of the voting method was clear enough and was made in a timely enough manner for members before they voted. Additionally, this information was communicated before any member could receive an absentee ballot. Furthermore, how the voting method was chosen did not violate the bylaws of East Bay, and the procedure seemed to be in line with how elections have been handled in the chapters past. Members of East Bay could change their bylaws at a general meeting to enforce a voting method in future elections if they choose to go through that process. Regarding voting data, the election ballots were counted by volunteers who were not attending the convention and who represented various political groupings within East Bay. Leaders of the East Bay chapter published most voting data, only excluding individual ballots. The committee wants to emphasize that the Constitution requires that, quote, all local elections of delegates shall be by secret ballot, end quote. With the data published, members of East Bay are able to review and confirm that the scores were correctly computed according to modified borda. The committee believes that one of the strongest held values of DSA is that of local rule, where chapters are allowed many freedoms in determining their democratic processes and activities. So, while ultimately East Bay's delegate election may have contained serious flaws, of which may require further deliberation and decision-making within their chapter, their delegates election followed all rules required and did not demonstrate any malfeasance serious enough to warrant a national intervention. Thus, the committee recommends that the credentials of the 6 named delegates from East Bay be upheld and that the respective challenge be overruled. So, to summarize, the committee recommends that the credentials of both Nick J. and the 6 named delegates from East Bay be upheld, that all challenges be overruled, and that the temporary roster of delegates as duly elected representatives of the largest socialist organization in the country be accepted as the official delegates to the 2019 National Convention of the Democratic Socialists of America.
Great. So I've heard.
Hi, I motion to amend the report to strike the East Bay Locals winning slate 6 lowest ranking delegates, who are Shane R., Emma G., Andrew R., Max L., Richard M., and Charlie H., from the list of delegates from the East Bay Local of DSA, and that top vote receiving alternates, including Bonnie L., Colin PBM, Dan E., Ted F., Colin M., and Jackie A., be added to that list.
Okay, I've heard a motion and a second. Could I hear your name and your chapter?
Hi, my name is Onlin Wang. I use him, and I'm from Philadelphia.
Great. Okay. So there's a motion to substitute, or there's a motion to amend the roster to substitute 6 members of the. Yes. Could someone please run a mic to the comrade in the jean jacket, of which there are many?
I simply had a question.
Sorry, could we? Thank you.
I simply had a question on if it's allowable for members of a different chapter to substitute members of an unrelated chapter. I mean,
it is. So since the committee, the Credentials Committee, is sending that report to all of us, now it is a decision of all of us. So yes, it is in order. I've heard the motion and a second. We will take people to speak for and against for 2 minutes each. And we have Lisa as our timekeeper. Yep, you're recognized.
Thanks for the time. I will do 2 things in this motivation. First, I want to respond to 3 points being circulated in the sheet here in support of keeping all of the members of the East Bay delegation there. Point number 3 alleges that this challenge singles out the East Bay delegation. That is correct, and that is because the other chapters which use the modified border system did not actually submit challenges. Second, it alleges that the local delegation election did not violate any democratically determined processes, both at local and national levels. I think this may be correct, but ultimately we are here to defend the spirit of democratic representation, not merely the letter of the law. Third, it also alleges that local rule is a widely held principle that we must abide by. I think this is correct as well, but that does not, I think, necessarily mean that we should never act from the national, especially to enforce basic minimum governing standards at the local level. I want to also, secondly, speak in favor of this motion here. And I think one of the most important things that makes DSA uniquely strong and the cutting-edge organization of the U.S. left today is its commitment to democracy, which is why this convention is our highest decision-making body and why decisions of chairs can be overturned by our votes. But we can only be a democratic organization if elections that determine the makeup of this highest decision-making body are fair, proportional, and importantly are widely understood as being such. So I think 3 questions we need to consider here today. First, is modified border, the voting system East Bay used, actually represent proportional? Second, did challengers attempt to get a proportional election method? And third, did the use of modified border actually meaningfully impact the election results? So on the first, I think that's fairly clear. Modified border is in fact not proportional. This is fairly easily Googleable. Second,
okay, so it is too late to object at this point. So you have 20 seconds left.
Okay. The challengers did attempt to get a proportional election method by submitting a petition, and when the petition was responded to by leadership, they dropped the petition on the grounds that they believed that the leadership was going to choose a proportional election method and not border. When border was...
Okay. Sorry, before you leave the mic, could you repeat the 6 names of the proposed substitute delegates?
Yeah, the 4 of them stand behind me right now. Those 6, though, are Bonnie L., Colin PBM, Dan E., Ted F., Colin M., and Jackie A.
Jackie A?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then I heard a point of order at some point, but okay, you withdraw. Okay, great.
Point of clarification here on what we're actually...
Could you get to the mic, please?
So point of clarification in that the chair gave a report. There was a verbal second from the audience on the report of which was given, and then there was a motion for an amendment to that. What are we actually talking about at this point, and then what is the vote going to be?
Thank you.
We need to be very clear about the work that we are trying to do. It is important.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so think of Robert's rules like it's a flow chart. We heard the report from the chair. It got a second. Then, because it got a second, the motion to amend is in order. And so now we are talking about the amendment to the roster. So the amendment to the committee report. Does that clarify? I can't see where you went to... Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, yep, so we are debating, so right now, we are debating the amendment to the committee report, and that amendment is to swap 6 of the the amendment is to take 6 different delegates to recognize 6 different delegates from East Bay from what the committee report says. Okay, so with that, I will go to the other mic for the other opinion. So you have 2 minutes. Please say your name, your pronouns, and your chapter.
Hi, comrades. My name is Keith. I use he or they, and this is Abby. We are co-chairs from the East Bay chapter of DSA. And I want to urge my comrades here today to stand for locally driven Big Tent democracy in DSA by seating all of our elected delegates at this convention. What happened at our delegate convention, or at our delegate election? We just heard from the Credentials Committee. We used the same way of picking our election method as we had in every election before. Co-chairs picked it. This isn't maybe not a perfect system. We've learned from it and already adopted reforms, but this is the standard practice. And they picked a system in good faith that is used widely across DSA, the Borda ranked choice system, because they believed it would pick delegates who had wide support, supermajority support across our chapter. But we felt that was important. 335 comrades in our chapter voted in this election, our highest turnout ever. The challenge now asks you to throw out this election, throw out elected delegates, and replace those delegates with their choice of delegates. The Credentials Committee has said unequivocally they recommend having you seat all the delegates. They've said that the election followed all the rules, that there is no serious impropriety, and they said that the basis of the challenge is not true on the facts of DSA rules. I think that it matters that the challenge isn't true on the rules, because rules matter in our organization. Rules can be changed democratically if we want to change them. Throwing out elections that follow the rules turns DSA into a naked power struggle. We don't want that. Nobody should want that here. If no rules were broken, then why are the challengers still trying to unseat delegates? There's an assumption of bad faith here. There's an assumption of bad faith in the voters that they all voted 100% factionally. There's an assumption in bad faith in the elected leaders saying that they had some kind of factional conspiracy. There's no evidence for either of those assertions. It's really important to our democracy we don't assume bad faith in our comrades. It's even more important that we don't go down the dangerous road of having the national organization throw out local elections. Okay, thank you very much, comrades. I hope you see all of our elected delegates. Thank you.
Okay. I hear a motion to call the question. Is there a second? Okay, there are lots of seconds. Okay, great. Okay, all those in favor, so calling the question means ending debate. It takes... I heard it, and there were more seconds than I could possibly count. Okay.
May I be recognized to call the question?
Okay. Yes, you are. I'm recognizing the motion to call the question. Is there a second?
Second.
I hear lots of seconds. All those in favor of ending debate and calling the question. This takes 2/3. Please raise your placards. On the amendment, that's correct, yes. All opposed? Okay, so that carries, and we are ending debate. So right now we are voting on the amendment to the roster about the East Bay challenge. And so this takes a majority, a simple majority, half plus one to pass. And so all those in favor of the challenge to the East Bay delegation, so those 6 delegates, please raise your placards. Yes. Could someone run a mic, please? Sorry, hold on. Could you put down your placards? I'll see that again. I'll ask for the votes again.
So in voting yes, are we voting to...
Yes. Yeah, so voting yes
upholds the delegates?
No. So voting yes means that you want the substitute 6 delegates to be seated instead of the delegation that is outlined in the Credentials Committee report.
Thank you.
Does that make sense? No. Yes. Could you get to the mic, please?
Micah Utrick from Chicago. So just to be clear, the amendment is going against basically the spirit of the report that was just delivered, correct. Right? So if you agree with what the report recommended, then you should. I'm just asking. I'm trying to understand what.
Okay. Okay. Let me just clarify. Voting yes means that you are supporting the challenge to the East Bay delegation. So you want the 6 substitute delegates to be seated instead of the delegation that's outlined in the Credentials report. Voting no means you're upholding what is in the Credentials Committee report.
Thank you.
Does that make sense to folks? Yes. Thumbs up? Okay. All right, so all those in favor of the amendment to seat the 6 other delegates, please raise your placards. All opposed, please raise your placards. Okay, the noes have it, and the East Bay delegation in the report is going through.
Madam Chair, now you have to vote on the report.
Okay, so now that we've taken up one of the amendments, are there any further amendments to the roster? Oh, there can't be.
Because they had to challenge within a certain...
Oh, you had a challenge during a certain period of time, so there were only 2 that were in order. And so is there any further debate on the Credentials Committee report?
Sarah L. Columbus, I wish to accept the findings of the Credentials Committee and rescind my challenge to Nick J's credentials. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so is there any further debate on the Credentials Committee report?
Point of privilege. Can I reiterate that we, for the sake of our comrades who have sensory issues, refrain from hissing, loudly shouting out your opinion on a vote, or waving banners and signs that reflect your vote in front of people?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so now is there any further debate on the Credentials Committee report?
Point.
Hold on. Point of order. Yep.
Thank you. So,
sorry, what's your name and
my name is Trey. I use they, them, and he, him pronouns. I'm from Memphis. Thank you for asking. Nice to meet you. Sorry.
Nice to meet you.
I had a question. So, Nick? Jack? What is his name? Or what is his name? Nick J. They were elected as an at-large delegate before they resigned. Is that correct? No. No? Okay, then never mind.
Yes, let's get a clarification from Brian.
Nick J. resigned from their chapter in late 2018 and then officially communicated that in January 2019. This is before any election can happen. So it's well in advance of the at-large delegates election. Nick J. was qualified to be elected.
Okay. Is there any further debate on the Credentials Committee report? Could you get to the mic, or can someone run a mic to the comrade in the back somewhere? Great.
Thank you. Evan Glosna, he, him, Asheville, North Carolina. Previous comrades stated that a motion to call the question cannot be blurted out. It must be recognized. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further debate? You move the... are you trying to close debate right now? Yes? Okay. So there's been a motion to end debate. That requires a second. Okay, lots of them. This requires a 2/3 vote to end debate. All those in favor of ending debate, raise your placards. And all those opposed? Okay, so now we're going to vote on approving the Credentials Committee report to seat all of the delegates. This requires a simple majority, so 50% plus 1. All those in favor of approving the Credentials Committee report and seating delegates, please raise your placards. All opposed? That passes, and so the delegates have now been seated, and now we are going to...
Point of information, could you please let us know how many delegates there are?
Anyone know that? Hold on one second. Do you know that?
I believe 1,057.
Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Okay, to all 1,057 of my fellow comrade delegates, hooray, we are now seated in the highest decision-making body of the Democratic Socialists of America. And now we're going to move on to the resolutions and amendments committee.
Very brief point of information. If you are using a microphone, talk into it directly like I am right now, and do not wave your face back and forth because people cannot hear you. That is all.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the pointer. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the resolutions and Amendments Committee. I will hand it over to Natalie Madiri to give the report.
So I actually already gave my report briefly. That's totally okay. I know we had a chaotic morning, but we're back on track, you guys. Nice work. Next up is the rules.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we are going to move into adopting the convention rules. These are listed on the website. Is there any debate on well, first, can I get a motion to adopt the rules?
So moved.
Okay, so I've heard it's been moved. Is there a second?
No, objection.
All right, there's an objection from a place where I don't remember where that came from.
I move to amend the proposed convention rule 2D13 to strike the words ranked choice from the second sentence and replace them with the word single transferable vote.
Sorry, hold on. I have a quick question. Do you want to amend the rules, or do you want to object from the rules?
Sorry, my objection was that I was trying to move to amend.
Okay, yep.
Sorry.
Okay, so we'll take that in just one moment. So I've heard a motion to adopt the rules. Is there a second? Okay, great. So now please state your name, your pronouns, and your chapter, and go ahead with your amendment.
Oh, do I need to state the amendment again first?
Could you say your name, your pronouns, and your chapter, and then you can say your amendment?
Sure. Aaron Marks, Metro DC, DSA, he, him. Once again, I move to amend proposed convention rule 2D13 to strike the words ranked choice from the second sentence and replace them with the word single transferable vote.
So I've heard an objection to the consideration of the question. I think that is not debatable. It is not debatable. So we're going to, does it require a second? No. Okay, so there's been a motion to object to the consideration of the question. It is not debatable, so you don't get to speak to it.
Shall the objection be abstained? Shall the objection be upheld?
So should the objection be upheld? So this requires, I believe it's a two-thirds vote. It's not debatable, so we need to take a vote on that right now. So all those...
Point of information?
Yes, on point.
Can the chair read the motion underlying this motion?
Yep, yes. Okay, so let me just take you through the flow chart again. So, so far, we have, there's been a motion to adopt the rules of the convention. There was a second. There was a motion from Aaron from Metro DC to strike the words ranked choice and replace them with a single transferable vote.
That's correct.
And then there was a motion to object from Trey from Memphis. Oh, he withdraws his. Okay, objection. And now we are moving back to the amendment from Aaron from Metro DC about 2B13.
2D13. Yeah.
And so you have 2 minutes to speak to that.
Okay. Hi, my name is Aaron Marks. I'm a delegate from Metro DC DSA, and for the past 4 months, I have served on the elections subcommittee of the National Convention Planning Committee. We were responsible for picking an election system to choose the next NPC. After we spent months considering several options, including single transferable vote, ultimately the NPC steering committee held a closed-door secret meeting to pick the election method without regard for our recommendations. In that meeting, they chose a deeply flawed method called the modified Borda count, which we've talked about a little bit earlier. Borda it's very problematic because it's very difficult to predict the results, and it boosts majority factions disproportionately. Whereas if you rank your preferences on your ballot honestly, it can cause your most preferred candidates to lose and your vote to be wasted. The only way to ensure that your preferred candidates are elected to the NPC using the modified Borda system is if you have deep, intimate knowledge about how everyone else in the room is voting. Like, not just a few people, but all 1,100 people. You have to know how everyone else in this room is voting in order to help make sure your candidates win. Now, I don't know about you, but I think very, very few of us have the time, energy, or personal connections required to have access to this kind of information. I think we need an election system that allows us to just vote honestly with trust that our collective preferences will decide who wins and it'll be directly reflected in the results. And as an individual election subcommittee member, I strongly recommend we switch to the single transferable vote system, which is actually what they just used for the YDSA elections yesterday. And it worked out just fine. With STV, you can have confidence that it'll be the case that your vote will be reflected honestly. You can vote for as many candidates as you want that might be unpopular at the top of your ballot, and it won't cause your vote to be wasted. Those candidates may not win, but your vote will elect a winner who represents you. It is a proportionate system, and one way or another, you will be represented. So, as a convention, we have the authority to overrule this decision and make a better choice. As an election subcommittee member, I strongly urge to reject the board system, use STV instead.
Time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
May I make a point of information?
Yes, point of information, name, chapter, pronouns.
My name is Sam Lewis. He, him. I'm from the New York City DSA chapter. I was one of the members of the election subcommittee. I just want to make a factual correction, I guess. That
sorry, that's not a point of information.
Sorry.
So a point of information is a clarifying question.
Okay.
If you would like to speak against the amendment, you may do that, if you want to do that. Is that what you...
Would I do that right now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
The election subcommittee submitted a set of options to the NPC after discussion with the NPC that included both STV and the system that was used 2 years ago, which is the BORDA system that's currently in the rules, in which you rank 16s. The majority of the committee submitted a report saying that these were both acceptable options. And my understanding is that that went to a vote of the full NPC. So I think there are some factual errors made on the other side.
Okay. Yes. Could you get to a mic, please?
Sort of. Sherry, she, her, Boston. Hi, Beth. Point of information. Is the BORDA being used modified from the BORDA recommended by the committee, or is it the same BORDA that was used 2 years ago? And if so, was that BORDA modified from the original BORDA system, and how?
Okay, so I think that's a question for the Elections Committee, and I will allow Ella or Sam to answer that.
Can we? I mean, I think we might have different opinions, but and I respect that.
Sorry,
but Ella and Sam are not, like, we're all elections committee members, so I think we each have a right to give our own answer, if that's okay.
Okay, so I will allow an Elections Committee person on either side of this amendment to answer. On both sides.
Actually, can I ask you to repeat your question again?
Sherry, where did you go? Could you repeat your question? I think it was about how is BORDA modified? I don't totally understand right
Hi.
now.
Okay. Again, Sherry, she, her, Boston, serve on my local elections committee. Is the election system being used a modified form of BORDA true to the election 2 years ago? Is the election system being used the form of BORDA exactly recommended by the elections committee, or has it been further modified? And is the form of BORDA has been modified? How so, and how will that affect voting? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the majority of the Elections Committee voted to present 3 options to the MPC. Number 1 was BORDA, a complete ballot BORDA system, where you rank all 33 candidates, and all 33 candidates, or now it's 32, I think, and all 32 candidates get a weight when you rank them, right? Option 2 was BORDA that is the same BORDA that we used in the last MPC election in 2017, where you only rank 16 candidates. Option 3 was an STV election. And so we presented these 3 options to the MPC. We did not advocate for one over the other, and the MPC decided from there. I also want to, and the option that the MPC chose was ranking candidates 1 through 16 in a Board election. So it is the same system from the 2017 MPC election. I also want to note, as a member of the MPC right now, that only MPC members who are not running as candidates were allowed to vote on what kind of election system to use.
Okay, thank you. Is there another member of the Elections Committee who would like to speak also?
Yes, may I?
Name, pronouns, chapter, please.
Yeah, Aaron, Metro DC, he, him. That's mostly correct with one caveat, which is I believe the majority memo had explicitly said to the steering committee, do not use the modified BORDA system. It was listed as a third option that was not recommended. Further, I issued a minority opinion explaining
Sorry,
why.
could you please address the chair? Thanks.
Sorry. I issued a minority opinion explaining why STV was a more fair and a more proportionate system. They both represent like official opinions of the election subcommittee, but the fact is none of us were explicitly recommending BORDA over STV. One memo said that you can either use the like regular BORDA or STV, and the other one just said STV. One memo did explicitly say do not use the modified BORDA one, and that's the one that's slated to be used right now. So, yeah, take from that what you will.
Okay, so let me just try to clarify this for my own purposes. So my understanding then from hearing two or three members of the Elections Committee is that the Elections Committee recommended 3 voting options to the NPC as a majority of the Elections Committee. Those are BORDA, modified BORDA, and STV.
They explicitly said you probably shouldn't use modified BORDA. It's hard to implement.
Was that a majority or a minority?
That was the majority.
That was majority.
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah, so in the 3 options we gave, we articulated to the NPC that it would be technically more difficult for the Elections Committee to implement the modified BORDA that's in the rules. That was the basis by which it was discounted versus the other 2. We said this will be harder for us to implement. When the NPC, can y'all hear me okay? When the NPC made the decision that was the preferred method, we resolved the implementation issues, and the Election Committee is prepared to implement this. So it was not disfavored on the basis of saying that it was a less fair system, which I think is the implication of what Comrade M is saying.
Okay. Point of information when you have a moment.
Yes, I can't see. Okay, so there's, hold on. So I'm going to take those in order. So first I'm going to hear the point of information from Sherry again. You're recognized, and then we'll take up the call to question.
Point of information, as someone who works on a locals elections team, I know that Open Vote is sometimes tricky. What platform are we using for our NPC elections, and how has it been technically tested? Thank you.
Is there an answer to that? Which platform are we using?
Hi, I'm Chris Maizano from New York City, he, him, also a member of the committee. The plan is to use OPA to collect ballots. Those ballots would be exported and then votes tabulated in a spreadsheet that's been created to tabulate votes.
Okay, so the answer is OPA vote. Okay, so I heard a motion to call the previous question, and
Point of order is not recognized.
okay, sorry, I cannot hear that sometimes. What is your point of information, and can I get a mic to this comrade in kind of the middle?
Yeah, just the point of information is single transferable vote isn't one discrete electoral system. There are
do you have a question?
Yeah, the question is which version of STV is being used. Is it Drew pair? There's a bunch of different methods for counting single transferable votes. There's a range of different ones, and what one is the amendment proposing?
Okay, so Aaron. Right, but the point of information is interruptible, so I'm going to take that first. So could the comrade from DC answer the question, which version of STV?
So we've actually already written up the rules in case it's needed. We're using the Scottish system with the droop quota. It's all set up in OPA-vote already, so all the tabulation would happen on OPA-vote using all the normal specifications of Scottish STV, which you can tell by the name, that's what they use in Scotland. So that's like why it's called that.
Great. Okay, so Scottish STV. Okay, so now we're going to go with the comrades' motion to call the question and end debate. I hear a second.
Clarifying question.
Sorry, what was that?
Clarifying
I can't. Can you get to the mic? I can't hear you.
I have a question for clarification.
Yes, what is your clarifying question?
Thank you.
And what's your name, pronouns? I think I know you.
I'm Forrest, he, him from New Hampshire. My question of clarification is on how we're voting and on what. Specifically, if I understand that the committee recommended that either the BORDA or single transfers could be used, and I am deeply uncomfortable with so many of my comrades
What is your clarifying
being
question,
uncomfortable with BORDA, and we could go with single transfer instead, would I vote yes on single transfer as a vote for democracy?
Hold on, everyone. It'll be fine. Okay, so so I will get to your question in a second. First, let's end debate, and then I will repeat what voting yes and voting no means. Is that okay? Okay,
thank you.
Let's do that. Okay, so I heard a motion to call the question. Can someone run the mic to the comrade in the back?
Left.
Hi, Veronica, she, her, Pioneer Valley. Just a reminder that in Robert's rules, you can't ask a clarifying question. It has to be a point of information, and that has to be factual. Like, Freudian slip. You have to be asking a specific question that can be answered by the chair. You cannot be asking these more intellectual questions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Please, with your points of information first. I mean, I'm using Robert's Rules light. I will, allow certain things to happen as long as the intent is clear. Okay, so right now.
Point of personal privilege?
Yes.
I just want to point out that a lot of people have been very disrespectful to our chair, and it's been kind of racist and sexist. I'd really like that to stop. It is very difficult to chair a convention with 1,000 people in here. Beth, you're doing an excellent job, so please be mindful of that. Thank you. Ashley East Bay.
Okay, so right now there has been a motion to end debate. There has been a second. This requires 2/3 vote to end debate. All those in favor of ending debate, raise your placards. All those opposed to ending debate, please raise your placards. Could I see that again? Okay, everyone who wants to end debate, please raise your placards. Hold on. All those opposed, please raise your placards. That looks like I would call for division on that.
Okay, so this is our first test, I believe, of our electronic voting. So I'm going to communicate.
Yes. I couldn't call. I don't think I made it.
Unless the maker of the motion would like to withdraw it, we will move now to an electronic vote. And so I'm going to communicate with the wonderful Rebecca to get it set up. And so, Chair, could you please restate the motion so that she could create it online?
Yes. So there was a motion to call the question, which means end debate, on the amendment to the convention rules of 2D, section 13, to strike ranked choice and replace STV, or single transferable vote. Who's doing that?
Hold on. Could you write it down for me and I'll text her the language?
Yeah.
Point of clarification, please.
I can't. Yeah, I can't see you. Sorry. Who is
Over here. Over here.
Oh,
Over
okay.
here. Hi, I'm Jessica from Silicon Valley. She, her pronouns. We're voting right now to end the debate, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on one sec.
That guy.
Okay, sorry. Who just said that? Okay.
Hello, I'm Andy P. They, them from.
Sorry, could you wait until the mic goes up to your face? It's kind of a weird thing to say.
I'm sorry. Hi, I am Andy P. From Los Angeles, they, them pronouns. Could I please ask the chair to, again, there was a previous point of privilege about waving around signs, that it is distracting to other comrades. I have autism. This is distracting to me. I would like to ask our fellow delegates, please, to not wave around your signs, especially during voting. Thank you.
Yes. Please do not wave around your signs. Thank you.
Madam Chair, at this point, we're waiting for the vote to be created. When it's ready, I'll let you know, and there will be a URL projected on the screen, and you will be able to put that in either to your phone, your laptop, or you can go use one of the iPads that we have ready.
Yes, on point, but let's get a mic to you.
This is Chris, he, him from Cleveland. We have not approved any rules to use an online voting system. Robert's Rules does not allow online voting unless we approve a rule to do so. Is that correct?
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so it is very difficult to count your hands. So what I would recommend is to suspend the rules by 2/3 to use online voting in this one instance before we approve the rules. Is there a motion to suspend the rules? So moved. Is there a second? All those in favor of suspending the rules to use this online voting this one time before we approve the rules? Great. All those opposed? Okay, so let's use this online voting system right now.
Okay, so I'm just going to reiterate. The URL is about to go up on the screen. There are iPads to my right and left, iPads in the back at the tech station. iPad holders wave to the delegates so they can see you. And what you will do is input the code that is on your voting credential. That will give you access to the ballot. Again, if you have multiple voting credentials because you are holding multiple cards for your delegation, you will do this process multiple times, logging back in with the new codes. Thank you.
And there's voting stations.
Yes, I see a point of personal privilege. Can you get to a mic, or can someone run a mic? Someone is trying to iPad and mic at the same time, so if someone could help that person out.
Thank you, Chair. Nick, he, him, his from Twin Cities. This is on behalf of a delegate who's currently in the remote room. They say that it is very hard to see the screens and cannot get a URL.
Okay, so hold on one sec. So the URL is dsausa.org/vote1. Hold on. One sec.
No worries. Information.
Could I get Chris? Could I get Rebecca, whoever that is?
Thank you very much.
Rebecca, are you able to speak into the mic?
Yeah, it's okay.
Can I go?
Madam Chair, I believe you can address Rebecca. She can hear you, and either she has a mic or a mic will be run to her to respond.
Yep. Is Rebecca here? Could someone get a mic to Rebecca? Okay.
Point of information, Madam Chair.
Hold on. We're going to go to Rebecca before we get to whoever is at the mic right now.
I'm right here.
I don't know where any of these sounds are.
I'm all the way in the back.
Okay, great. Rebecca, you're recognized. Rebecca, are you ready to share what's going on?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we've hit the OPA server too hard, and I'm going to go call Jeff.
Point of information then?
Yes.
Okay. I'm old school, folks, and it's probably some technical problem that we can't solve. So my point of information is really a question. Is it possible that we do this the old-fashioned way and have the yeses on one side of the room and noes on the other? Would that be possible for the chair to do?
I would suggest not doing that because there's going to be a little bit too much motion.
Point of order.
Hold on. I'm hearing a few too many things going on right now. So if you could get to the mics, that would be great. You're recognized.
Evan George, he, him, Boston. To make this work, you need to shut off your Wi-Fi. The reason it crashed was because we were all on the same IP. Shut off your Wi-Fi. You'll be able to then log into what we just did. We can vote that way. Thank you, Beth.
Okay. Thank you.
Point of order.
Yes. What's your point of order?
Yes. I would like to move to suspend the rules that we not do counts. We not divide the House on procedural motions. We are wasting more time than if we would have had discussions. Let the chair simply use her best judgment on what the vote was and either go on with the debate or not waste our time doing this.
Okay. So while we're, could we just try this one more time? All those in favor, and can we do another vote on calling the question? Like, we've spent a lot of time on this, and I'd like to move on also. I think a whole lot of you probably do as well. So all those in favor of ending debate on this amendment to the convention rules to strike ranked choice and to put in STV. So this is just closing debate right now. Please raise your placards. Okay, that's a very different vote from before. All opposed? Okay, so we're ending debate. We're going to vote on the amendment. Sorry for all the hoopla. Democracy can be hard. So we're going to vote right now on the amendment to the convention rules to strike ranked choice and to insert single transferable vote. So I want to remind people that the motion to amend the convention rules takes 2/3. So all those in favor.
They can amend by a majority.
Oh, sorry. You
Amending a motion only takes a majority.
Yep, you can amend by a majority. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so this takes a majority vote. And so all those in favor of striking ranked choice and replacing single transferable vote, please raise your placards. And all opposed? I think...
Goodness. I can't call it.
Okay, we might have to use the online voting system.
Madam Chair, could we take a moment? Could I take a moment just to consult with our staff to see if we could get volunteers to count?
Yes,
old-fashioned way?
actually, okay, that's a good call. So, how many Okay, could I get counters to the front? Sorry, hold on one sec. Oh wait, are all of you prepared to count? Thank you, Amen. What is that? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna, could I get everyone's attention, please? Okay, so we're gonna take a hand count right now, and hopefully this online voting system will work soon. So all those in favor of the amendment to strike ranked choice and replace single transferable vote, please raise your placards and raise them high until a counter has confirmed that they have counted your vote. They're going to split up. Just if you don't know, just take a seat. It's going to be fine.
I'd just like to thank our wonderful volunteers and staff for all the clicking they're about to do. You guys are amazing.
Yes, and when a counter has gone around and confirmed, like nodded at you or something.
And the delegate who brought clickers.
You can lower your hand. But only when the person who's like counting has like verbally or confirmed with their body language that they've counted your vote.
Stop fucking clapping. Sorry. Yeah, on the floor. That is not great lighting.
I think we're good.
Okay. But you have your total? Should I count that or not?
Oh, yeah. So you're going around. Okay, got it.
Okay. I counted every time. Do you have your Okay, no, but I appreciate it. I said 7. Gotcha.
Yeah. I just want to say it so people hear it, because it has not made a difference so far. It's just really fucking annoying to not have people like listen to the rules like they're there for a reason. And it's really weird that chapters don't have this already in place. Just saying.
Very proud of this.
This is going well.
too. Okay. Okay. What was your number? I got you over.
Point of personal privilege, please.
Yes, what's your personal privilege?
Hi. So I know that this is kind of annoying. I know it's taking a while, but we want this to be done right. We are a democratic organization. We want to do this right. I myself watched some of the counters not count some of the votes. And it may have been a mistake, but maybe we need to do this a different way. Maybe we need to have more time to talk about this. I just want this to be done right. I want every vote to be done right, not just this one, obviously.
I do too. Okay, so actually, if you are standing up, could you please sit down and get into a seat so that so there aren't so many people moving around? And then let me consult the people who are counting. So everyone who is not a counter, take a seat. Take a seat. Everyone on the walls, take a seat so that we can count. When there's so many people moving around, it's very difficult to count. Okay. So we are going to take this count again. And we're going to, yep. So they're going to create a very quick plan. Please do, if you can refrain from leaving the room and take a seat, that would be helpful unless you don't want your vote to count. Okay, in case anyone doesn't remember what we're voting on, we are voting on an amendment to the convention rules to strike ranked choice and replace that with single transferable vote. Okay, so everyone, thank you for taking a seat. If you're still standing up, please take a seat. If you're against the walls, please take a seat. And I will call for the vote in a moment. So okay, I just heard a report that the electronic voting will be fixed after lunch. Yes. Okay. Could you actually just... Sure. All right, so we're going to share exactly how we plan to do the count. And if you could share your name and your pronouns and chapter.
Cap Bresler, she, her, and Hudson Valley, New York. We're going to start in the middle of the aisles, two of us. One counter will go backwards and one counter will go forwards. We need to make eye contact with you. So please look for your clicker, your counter, and not down at your phone or not talking to your neighbors so that we make eye contact, no double counts and things like that. And it'll happen relatively quickly. Thank you.
Okay, so we are now voting on the amendment to replace ranked choice voting with single transferable vote. So all those in favor of replacing ranked choice voting with single transferable vote.
I have a point of information for the vote counters. Do they want us to put our placards down after they make that eye contact?
Yes, that is correct. So once a counter makes eye contact with you, verbally affirms, body language affirms, you should put your placard down. So all those in favor of replacing ranked choice voting with single transferable vote. In the convention rules, raise your placards and then lower them once a counter has made eye contact with you or otherwise verbally or physically confirmed that they have counted your vote.
I got confused between
No, that's okay.
1, 2.
I'm amazed at how you're keeping track already, so no apologies.
No, just one.
Yes. After the whole vote. After the whole vote. You'll do the negatives next.
Okay. Yep. Okay, hold on one sec. Front half, right third. Yep. And what section is that? Back, right. Middle back. Which section did you have? Sorry, can you convene closer to here? Center back. And what was the number? 3? Okay. Okay, so I believe all of the yeses have been counted. So now we're going to vote, so all of those opposed to striking ranked choice and replacing with STV, so this would be to keep ranked choice in the convention rules, please raise your placards, and we will go through the counting again. I'm just going to keep this.
That is a heavy picture, isn't it?
Vote. Got your vote. Got your vote.
Okay, everyone, by a vote, all the counting has happened. By a vote of 523 to 443, that passes. And so we will, sorry, if we could respect our comrades. Okay, so that passes, and so the convention rules, as at least right now, as amended, will strike ranked choice voting and replace that with single transferable vote. And so now we are moving back to the original motion, which is about the convention rules as a whole. Is there further?
Amendment?
Hold on. Is there further debate on the convention rules? You're recognized.
I'd like to amend the convention.
Sorry, and what's your name, pronouns, chapter?
Mike Parker, East Bay, he, him. I'd like to amend the convention rules to say that we will have no division of the House on procedural votes, only on substantive votes.
Okay, so there is, hold on. Okay, so the amendment that the comrade from East Bay has proposed is that we have no division of the House, so there isn't like this kind of counting on procedural votes, only on substantive votes. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I heard a second. Would you like 2 minutes to share why you've made your proposal?
Agenda consideration.
Can he do that?
Yes, actually.
Okay, yes, that's in order. So there's been an objection to the consideration of that motion. That requires a 2/3 vote. It's not debatable. If you are in favor of the sustaining the objection, please raise your placards. Takes 2/3.
What is the?
Okay, and all opposed? Okay, so we're going to continue debating this amendment. Please go ahead.
We want to do things right, but we can't do them right if we don't even get to discuss them and vote on them later on. So we should use our time wisely, and we should use our time for voting where it's critical, like on substantive motions. We may need a division of the House. But on procedural motions, like calling the question, it should just be the estimate of the chair, and if the chair is not sure, she can consult with some other observers up there and make a ruling. It's better we spend our time moving on than we go through the procedure we just did. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a speaker against?
I have a request for information.
Yep. What's your request?
Laura, she, pronouns, Portland, Oregon. Could you clarify what is procedural motion? What specific subsidiary and incidental motions are included there?
Yes. My interpretation, based off of the Roberts Rules cheat sheet that we sent around, is that the substantive motions are definitely about introducing business, amending motions. That's what I personally would consider substantive, and I would consider everything else procedural, unless someone else has other. Okay, and the parliamentarian agrees. So the only substantive motions then would be to introduce business and to make amendments. Okay, so there's been a motion to call the question. Is there a second? This requires 2/3. All those in favor of ending debate, please raise your placards. All those opposed? Okay, that carries. So we've ended debate. And so now we're voting on an amendment to the convention rules. And that amendment is no division on procedural votes, only substantive votes. This requires a majority to pass. Okay, so all those in favor of the amendment, please raise your placards. All opposed? That passes. And so that is now in the convention rules. Is there further amendments to the convention rules? You are recognized. Please state your name, your pronouns, and your chapter.
Hey, everybody. My name is Dustin Guastella, he, him, from Philadelphia. I would like to move to amend Rule 4 and insert the words, after the words, resolutions before the convention shall be decided by a majority vote of the delegates and seated alternate delegates present and voting, insert the words, except those resolutions that themselves call for expenditures or redistributions of over $25,000 shall require a 2/3 majority of the delegates and seated alternate delegates present and voting.
Okay, so there's been an amendment from the COMRADE from Philly to insert language about expensive resolutions taking more than 2/3. Sorry, I don't have, let me just find that text. Could you repeat that one more time?
Yes. So except on those resolutions that require expenditures of $25,000 or more, they will require a 2/3 vote of the present and seated delegates and alternates.
Okay, so the resolutions or amendments that have expenditures over $25,000 would require a 2/3 vote instead of a simple majority. Is there a second? Okay, it's been seconded. Okay, so we're now moving into debate. Would you like to share why you proposed that amendment?
Yeah, as we heard from the budget analysis this morning, we are in a lot of trouble if we pass every resolution that calls for expenditures or redistribution of funds at this convention. Now, this is not just a problem financially. This is a problem for the democracy of this convention. If we pass all of these resolutions, it does not mean we are going to bankrupt the organization. It means that you will not get to decide where your money is going, because somebody is going to make those decisions, and it's not going to be this convention. If we raise the threshold to 2/3, we are saying that expensive resolutions that require expenditures and redistributions over $25,000, really heavily invested in resolutions, will require a supermajority. I think that if we want to make sure this convention is meaningful, and if we want to make sure that we are actually prioritizing the things that we as a body want to prioritize, we need to raise that voting threshold to 2/3. So please vote for this amendment. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so the exact language is on the screen. I heard a point of information.
How many of the resolutions are above this bar?
Does anyone from the Resolutions and Amendments Committee know that offhand?
I don't know that offhand. It would probably take me 15 to 20 minutes of calculating to answer, but quite a few.
Okay. If we can get that information, we will get it to you as soon as possible. But for now, let's hear an argument against. Is there someone who would like to speak against?
I have a point of information.
Yes. What's your point of information?
It's the amendment is redistributions of over $25,000. How is that being calculated? Are we using a staff estimate? Are we using the amender's estimate? Okay.
It's the estimate from the compendium. Okay. Can I hear a speaker against?
Again?
Yes.
Bria, she, her, Boston DSA. I urge you to vote against this amendment. The amount itself is arbitrary. Why 25,000? Why not 40,000 or 10,000? The cost estimates themselves are flawed. There's no oversight on the estimations, and they've already admitted that they accidentally added a 0 when estimating the restorative justice resolution, changing the cost estimate for direct cost from $6,000 to $60,000. Beyond that, frankly, it's identical in the spirit to the kind of limiting rule that the Republican Party uses to quash progressive legislation. We are a member-driven organization, but this rule detours the direction of the organization from the members to the staff. And we're socialists. We can and we must do better than this to recognize the membership of the organization. The convention is the highest decision-making body of the org, and we, as the assembled delegates, should be able to make decisions that direct more than 0.57% of the national annual budget in the decisions that we make. If this amendment is passed, it might mean that instead of making some costly but necessary changes, we settle for resolutions that don't actually fix problems but aren't estimated to cost as much. I am the author of one of the resolutions that is above the threshold that would be limited by this amendment. That's the child care resolution. And I think that this is especially problematic because our resolution was not written with a post hoc arbitrary funding cap in mind. It feels an important need to make our organization more accessible accessible. And for the delegates that feel that a big thrust of our work is growing our membership, how will we attract and retain members if we shy away from making an investment in something like Child Watch because of an arbitrary funding cap that was tossed at us the first day of the convention? We cannot arbitrarily pass off this pressing and crucial need represented by my child care resolution and others to the 2021 convention. Vote no.
Okay. Okay. I heard a call the question to end debate. I heard a second. All those in favor of ending debate takes 2/3. Raise your placards. All those opposed. Okay, that passes. And so we're going to end debate. We're going to vote on this amendment to the convention rules to require a 2/3 majority on resolutions and amendments that cost over $25,000 by the staff estimate. Okay, so all those in favor of this amendment, please raise your placards. Okay, and all those opposed? Okay, that's defeated, and we're going to move back to the convention rules. Is there further debate on the convention rules?
Madam Chair?
Yes, you're recognized. Name, chapter, pronouns, please. Please.
Dag, he, him, from Eugene, Oregon. I move to amend the proposed rules to add debate on resolutions and constitution and bylaws changes shall be limited to 2 speakers in favor and 2 opposed, and debate on amendments to those proposals shall be limited to 1 in favor and 1 opposed.
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
That the proposed rules be amended to add debate on resolutions and constitution and bylaws changes shall be limited to 2 speakers for and 2 opposed, and debate on amendments to these proposals shall be limited to 1 in favor and 1 opposed.
Okay, I heard a second. Would you like to share why you made that amendment?
Well, we're already behind schedule, and I really want to get through as much as we can.
Okay, great. Is there a speaker against? Okay, you are recognized.
Thank you. I'm Trey, they, them. I'm from Memphis. I'm rising to speak against...
You got to get closer to the mic.
I'm rising to speak against this amendment to the rules as it would inhibit the democracy that is inherent to our organization. If you look at it, most of the time that has been wasted in this body was not wasted on debate. It was wasted in vote after vote after vote and voting on whether we're going to vote on voting. It is ridiculous, and this resolution would not save us any time because I mean, again, we have not wasted much time on debate, so I just hope that we could vote for democracy and vote against the amendment.
Okay. I've heard a call to question to end debate and a second. All those in favor of ending debate, please raise your placards. All opposed? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to vote on this amendment to limit debate to 2 speakers in favor and 2 opposed for resolutions, constitutional and bylaw changes, and 1 in favor, 1 opposed for amendments. So all those in favor of that amendment, please raise your placards. Okay, all opposed? That's defeated. Is there further debate on the convention rules?
Madam Chair, I have an amendment. I have a motion to amend.
Okay.
Thank you. I move...
Oh, name, pronouns, chapter, please.
Sorry. My name is Roxy. I am from Central Florida DSA. My pronouns are she, her. And I move that we amend proposed convention rule 2D15. Constitutional and bylaws changes and resolutions will take effect. Strike the language that says only after the convention minutes have been approved by the NPC and substitute the language immediately upon passage.
Okay, I hear a second. Okay, so to make sure that I've got this right, so it sounds like the amendment is to strike, is to change when the rules, the new resolutions and amendments take effect from after the publication of convention minutes, and instead to start implementing them immediately.
That's
yes?
correct.
Okay. I heard a second. Would you like to speak to your amendment?
Yes.
What's your, yep. Could you get to a mic, or could someone run a mic to you?
Okay.
And is it 2D as in dog?
Yes. D as in dog.
Okay.
When we're raising our placards, when we transition between the votes, can we slow down a little bit because it's starting to get confusing for people? Thank you.
Totally. Yep.
All right. First off, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my comrades for your patience. I know this is hard, and we want to get to the actual fun debates, I guess. This, I think, is a good amendment because we are the highest decision-making body of this organization. Our decisions that we make here today should be respected and go into effect as quickly as possible. We also cannot wait for the decisions we make this weekend to go into effect for 6 months or a year. This is also not a suggestion that is wildly out of nowhere. Robert's Rules of Order actually has decisions going into effect immediately as the default. And basically, the convention minutes from the 2017 convention were only released by the NPC in July of 2018. I'm not sure when they were actually approved, but I believe that our membership should, at a minimum, have confidence that their decisions that they make go into effect right away. And I know there's a lot of proposals being put forward to help small chapters like mine. We all have a lot of opinions on them. I do have hope that whatever passes will help us, but it needs to go into effect right away. It can't wait 6 months or a year. There's an election coming up, and I'm in Florida. That tends to play a role in presidential elections. And I really want to build the power of this organization across this entire country and beyond. And I think, enacting the democratic decisions of the membership is the best way to do that. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so I've heard a call the question to end debate. Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of ending debate, please raise your placards. All opposed? That carries. So we're going to end debate, and so the amendment that we are voting on right now is to change when the new resolutions or amendments take effect from when the convention minutes are published to immediately upon effect. Does that make sense to folks? Yes. Okay. Could you get to a mic or...
So immediately, I mean, it would have to be after the...
Sorry, that's a point of debate. That's not actually...
Well, no, I mean, it doesnn't make any sense.
No, that's out of order.
Doesn't
Sorry,
make any sense.
we've ended debate. Okay, so now we're going to vote.
I have a point of order. If this passes, what happens if we also pass resolutions that give power to bodies that don't exist yet? What happens in the interim?
That's a good question for someone else.
I'm a point of order. I'm a member of the Rules Committee.
I can respond. Okay.
And I'd like to respond to that.
Name and pronouns.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Renee Parody, she, her, NYC DSA. The Rules Committee put in this rule so that if there were conflicting things that were passed or things that affected the procedural rules for certain proposals, that wouldn't happen in the middle of the thing.
This is debate. This is debate.
No. And
I
just wanted to respond to the question to say I don't think we know.
Okay. So we're gonna vote right now. Okay. So this is to change when the bylaw amendments and the constitutional amendments and resolutions take effect. So voting yes would be to make it... hold on. Could I just get through my sentence, please? So voting yes would be to make resolutions, amendments to the Constitution and bylaws take effect immediately. Voting no would maintain the current language, which says that they take effect when the minutes of the convention are published. Okay, so all those in favor of... We already... It's that we already said that that's July 2018. Okay, so all those in favor of the amendment to take up, you need to get to a mic.
Would now be a good time to add amendments to the amendment,
No,
or is that not
we are
something- okay.
voting right now.
Okay.
Okay, so all those in favor. Okay.
Sorry. So what happens if there's conflicting amendments? So I feel like we don't know is not an acceptable answer, but that's a point of debate. I know.
Yeah, that's a point of debate. Okay. Okay, so all those in favor of moving up when the proposals take effect, please raise your placards. And all those opposed? The noes have it. And that does not pass. Is there further debate on the convention rules? There's a motion to call the question, and there's a second. So we are ending debate on the convention rules as a whole, and we are going, all those in favor of ending debate, please raise your placards. All those opposed? That passes. And what is you need to get to a mic to be able to,
I was coming up here to Mike to make an amendment.
Sorry, it's out of order because we just ended debate.
Okay, the problem is, folks, if the NPC were to decide...
Sorry, you
Never
can't
mind.
do that. Okay, so now we're going to vote to adopt the convention rules. This requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor
Point of inquiry?
What's your point of inquiry?
As it stands, this is Daniel Ray from Piedmont, he, him pronouns. As it stands right now, can we make amendments to resolutions
No.
and constitutional
No.
bylaws? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so all those in favor of adopting the convention rules, please raise your placards. All those opposed? That passes. We now have convention rules. Okay, awesome. And now we are going to move into...
Point of privilege?
Hold on one second. Okay, so we are a bit behind schedule. I'm going to hand it over to Natalie.
We only have 10 minutes left for this section, which really isn't quite enough to do the business that we need to do. So at this point, it would be in order for someone to motion for a recess so that we could go get lunch, which was supposed to start at 1 anyway. Thank you. Is anyone opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. Nice job. That was lit. Okay, so wait. I have one more thing that I want to say. I believe the gluten-free options were fixed in advance, so if you're not gluten-free, please don't take gluten-free food from someone who registered in advance for it. We will be reconvening after lunch at 2:30 to talk with potentially the next leader of the AFL-CIO, one Sarah Nelson. And okay, we really need to go, but I see one hand here. So there has been I think that's frankly out of order. We had already recessed. Okay, so we will reconvene at 2:30.